positions are. We know what the heroes are. After last game, you gotta kind of wonder, though, what's the mindset at right now for VP? This is crazy, Trent.
Yeah, where are you at mentally? I think near the end of the draft, you could see just how much time on that last pick and how it really looked like it had be some sort of safe lane hero. But when I think of Ramses like saving a game, I look towards that Faceless Void. It had been banned out. Maybe something like the Spectre. Oh, that's banned out too. It seemed like LGD had a very good read on the draft.
Yeah, and it is going to be no one playing it this time around. He put up his hood in the middle of the draft and decided, all right, this is what we're going to be running out here this time around. He wants to do the taunts, wants to feel good about himself. And they are, again, going to make that move that we saw last time down to the bottom side. See if they can find themselves a kill, possibly.
Yeah, with those Ramses heroes removed, it just means he has to go back to the Wraith King. I think you guys remember at the Super Major, I believe there was some talk to Solo about Wraith King. Just like, when do you pick it? And never.
Wait a minute, though. They found Ame right at the start, but there's a lot of bugs. There is going to be Wraith King cut off from the rest of his team, and all alone, the King is taken down.
Well, Canada is north of the wall, but he was on the wrong side of it this time.
Oh, no. Well, you take a look at it now, and, you know, not necessarily the way you want to start. Not the end of the world, though. I think that's one that you can kind of brush off, possibly. But you do have to sort of keep your eyes on the mindset, how these players are going to be playing in this one, as Chalice and FY are going to make their way to the top side of the map. So one thing that we did sort of see in the past is this matchup of Kunkka versus a Tusk. You want to talk to me a little bit how these position 4s battle off against each other?
Yeah, you saw the Tusk get picked up after the Kunkka. It's been a little bit of a common counterpick as well. Kunkka trying to make a play here for the Rune. Secured with Pasha down bottom. Nice combination of the Torrent and this lovely leaping Maroon.
Oh, and all 4. My goodness gracious.
I guess that means the chat wheel starts a lot earlier. Once you get 4 bounty runes, you're good to go. But yeah, you just want to look for that snowball to try and stop that big combo happening. Try and secure your allies with that. And we heard the panel talking about, like, where's this tank for LGD, right? I mean, you're running first, you're showing a Weaver and a Terrorblade, so you're thinking, okay, kind of on the edge of the fight, in and out, lots of heavy damage. Terrorblade trying to be that standing tower, just mauling into the enemy team. But to me, now with the Lina being picked up, that means it kind of has to become Chalice's role, where he might even build into one of these earlier, like, Dragonlance and Aghanim Scepter, possibly. He has to be the guy that has that tank role for the team.
You see Solo TP out of that danger up in the top side. So, yeah, we'll see if he's going to be able to get into that, those items that keep that Weaver that much more survivable. Roger, in the meantime, going to be doing what we've seen more and more often nowadays, pulling that creep wave back behind the tower and trying to deny out a good bit of CS. But with the Silencer chasing him, he's actually forced to just take it through the river.
Oh, Chalice now.
In some trouble.
Yeah,
he took
early
those bugs. And instead, the shards from FY able to keep him alive, the salve up, the walk away, and now Solo not able to secure the kill onto the Tusk.
Fantastic save there from FY. Chalice just really dangerous spot to be in with bugs level 1. Yeah, not the easiest for a Weaver. You really want that early Shikuchi to help secure range creeps with the heavy damage that it has, and so he'll be struggling until he hits level 2.
While down here bottom, X-Nova on a hero that's known for a lot of early game harassment, but it does feel like the kill potential is going to be there a little bit later on for VP on this combo that they love to run.
Yeah, and look how much gold and experience they're getting right now because of where they've gotten this lane. We noticed in a lot of the games during the group stage, the team's getting that Bane early. It means that you can stop this pull from happening where you secure the lane near your own tower. Nightmare is so good at stopping anyone from doing that irritating pull. And with it on the side of Virtus Pro, them and LGD had no real option with just a silencer.
They are instead going to be able to find the other pull, which is the pull into the off lane, secure their lane equilibrium back into their favor. Looks like Chalice is going to come over, having gotten that level 2, and going to put the hurt to him a little bit. So yeah, things to watch
There's
out.
definitely kill threat on Solo here. He's playing very aggressively.
And the bugs are on him now. The shards, they go out. They don't last all that long, but with the Nightmare, the runaway, they're getting the body blocks in Solo. Once this Nightmare dissipates, he's going to have another round of Sakuchi and FY saying, come and fight me. On a battle with you, man. And they are going to deny.
It's not a whole lot you can do. They're going to keep 3 heroes here now. Some problems, 4 heroes. No one's saying.
It's being a little fast after that one.
Enough to drive back. When you're playing this Bane, you're trying to get trades going. You want to be very active in the lane versus your opponents, trying to use your brain sap, but clearly Solo just got a little bit too ahead of himself there. But it was a little bit of space for an unharassed Ramses to farm under the tower. And so try and put the zombies onto the Weaver.
Doesn't really work that well with the snowball on him, and instead they're going to turn the damage back onto Ramses. The minus armor and the punches, they go out another Nightmare, but traded it over. Chalice also in the area, but the crit comes from Ramses. Get off me!
Well, the crit wasn't very effective on the bug on him, but on the bug skittering around, much better.
It's just one of those things with the Weaver, you know, not a ton of HP, a lot of survivability in other ways. The silence, so it won't hit onto the torrent, and that means there's no arrow either. Nice play by X-Nova.
Still just laying into Roger here.
Roger living? Oh yeah, he's gonna TP away, and the punch, he got him! X-Nova, not giving up on the play.
That puts him now at 4 stolen hit, but he runs right back into Pasha. Just rotated on over, trying to secure that 4-minute bounty rune. Or sorry, 4-minute rune in the river. And looks like he will get it.
So that's the new mount as well, super pretty. Pasha will pick up the illusion and leap away from trouble. Gonna TP out of there as well. 2 heroes forced to use this TP in the bottom lane.
Yeah, now he's hoping for it. Yeah, you can see here the replay of our beautiful crit here. The bug on top, yeah, gives it a little crit, but that bug shakes it off pretty well. Chalice, unfortunately, will do the same thing. Solo just constantly harassing through the entire fight with the Nightmare, kind of controlling up this Weaver, and boom, 200 damage.
Felt pretty good about that one. Oh, look at the smile.
Oh, no one in trouble here. Back in the game with the stun now going.
Turning now on to Somnus. They pull the snowball in further forward. Can they get alive? No. Somnus gets the kill on no one. That's great.
Yeah, excellent initiation from FY there. The way that he doesn't just go in with the snowball and use the shards at the same time. He's spacing out his spells there. Waits until that the concoction's being used, and then he can kind of play around that with the snowball, which is honestly, even though the Alchemist picked after, it's a very telegraphed stun, so it can be very handy to have a Tusk on your team versus it, especially with how important it is now, where you go for this Radiance, then straight into the Blink on the Alchemist to try and be active with that cooldown.
For the crowd roaring already.
Snowball onto Solo. Needs to be careful. The Fairy Fire's there. They bring in another. This might be some more damage. The Nightmare, the punches. FY is dead. They traded over the Nightmare, actually. Now Solo able to retreat. Chalice still chasing. Somnus has Laguna Blade. This should be a very easy pickup for them, but they lost Solo.
Yeah, long rotation for the Lina, though, so no one is just getting a little bit of room here to get level 6 for himself after this catapult. And he's even just going to run away, just staying in range, a little bit worried about any rotations here with that Laguna Blade being there.
Does get level 6. That Carity as well. Has the Radiance eyed up for himself. And now 5-2. Still very even. It was looking really good for LGD, but a couple of solid moves, those rotations from the Bane have put them back on a solid footing.
Yeah, pretty serious XP lead for the side of LGD, though. It's getting up to about 1k at the moment right now. Pasha just got into level 4 versus the level 6 Terrorblade, so not a lot of threat on Ame here. He's still holding the point in case he gets ganked for the potential Sunder.
Ramses.
Likewise, also holding 6.
Tier 1 tower in the mid lane. All of the other tier 1s having already been secured. LGD wanting to take advantage of this timing before the Alchemist really comes online. It's, you know, a lot of different timings that you need to hit in a game like this, but getting as much done before that out comes online is important.
Yeah, it doesn't require a whole lot for that mid tower either. Just the Weaver and the Terrorblade. Maybe just walks into the wave up top, and Ramses is forced to just run away. Doesn't really want to waste his ultimate. And he'll have the Blink Dagger now, so probably a smoke play coming here. In fact, it'll just be a Moonlight Shadow, but it's all around this Weaver.
They see Ame as well, able to find him. The Global comes out in response. That boat's still going to hit, but I don't know if they have the follow-up now. With the Moonlight Shadow runaway, LGD, limited vision in this area. The Snowball save for the moment, away from Ramses, and now chasing forward for more. Somnus is here as well. Chalice doing a good bit of damage. He might end up being brought down. They weren't able to find the kill there onto the Wraith King. Solo making space for the rest of his cores to find themselves kills. And it's a Bane for a Weaver. You take that every day of the week.
Yeah, Ramses.
Oh, wait, Ramses. Oh, that's just the ulti, but it hurts a little bit.
Yeah, it doesn't feel that good. He wanted to blink in, I think, and try and get the slow going so the team could follow up, but at that point, they're just running low on everything without a boat to follow. So, yeah, in the end, great trade. And had some good vision in the area there from the Dire side, helping to secure that fight. And as you said, they spent a lot on that Terrorblade, right? You're throwing the boat, you're throwing the Fiend's Grip, but in the end, it still made enough space for them to get the more important kill on that Weaver. And that's Chalice's role, right? Where he has to kind of be this frontline and nuisance. It's a very tactical game right now from PSG LGD. They don't have this big brawler like a Dragon Knight or something. Just blink in and be targeted down. They have to play very carefully, using the Global Silence to cover for a bit, using the Weaver to try and distract and annoy, and then also using that Time Lapse for the secondary life on him and the Sunder for the secondary life on the Terrorblade. It's a lot of working parts here.
And And Ramses does not have his ultimate for another 180 seconds. The snowball forward with all these heroes around him. He is going to be caught and TP's away.
Not a whole lot of threat to his life. If he goes down once, it's pretty hard for someone like the Lina, for example, to kill him a second time. And they're going to smoke right under another ward here from LGD.
They find the stun. The boat's going to be there as well. The long duration silence, it's not going to connect. And now the secondary stun hits onto the Alchemist. They're trying to focus down no one. He is starting to drop, but there's the Moonlight Shadow. They have double dust for double the kill. Arrow going to miss.
What an incredible game of vision from PSG LGD. It seems like every single time they can just go in on that bottom lane because the Observer Ward is standing behind them. Smoking.
You talk about the vision, the sentry's down, ready for that potential gank. Everything, it's always there.
Yeah, they just have a complete read on what Virtus Pro are attempting to do in this game, and it means this Alchemist is now just 1,200 gold ahead of a Terrorblade. That is not enough to be feeling comfortable right now for VP.
He is still in the grave for a little while now as Ame continues to loom as a larger and larger threat. The Dota buff win probability was right last time. But, you know, this is a tough one right now for Virtus Pro. How do they get their feet back under him? It's only 3,000 gold. Granted, it's, you know, with an Alchemist on your team, you're behind that far. What do you do now if you're VP?
It's very difficult. They've got a pretty dumb Kunkka who's lost a lot of his int. You know, he's trying his best here, trying to read the instructions, but can't find him on that one.
FY, maybe this would be a good start. At least getting a kill onto this tough dust that's just been a thorn in their side.
He really has been very irritating. So nice pick up the side of Virtus Pro. Ramses will dance it off there. But you look at, like, let's say they're going to dodge fights. Ramses went first item Blink Dagger, so he's pretty slow at farm. Only has a ring. He just has to hit some Ancients. At least his DD rune will give him a hand. He needs to get in towards that armlet. And so all of this time for the Terrorblade, it's just this gap that's not supposed to be there. It should be so much larger for no one. And Ame just looks terrifying.
He really is just that monster. Well, maybe also getting closer and closer to the Shadow Blade. It does sort of feel like right now it's you would want to be, I guess, continuing to keep the pressure on a little bit with Virtus Pro. I guess that with the Alchemist Radiance now, he can try and just sort of fall back and farm. Is that the play?
Well, he looks like that's not going to work. He's actually eyeing up. Instead of that Blink Dagger to try and play aggressive and take fights we've seen so much from these Radiants, Alchemists, he is to go for that route when you're a little bit behind, and he's going back towards that old Manta style, as he already has the Yasha picked up. And while he's hiding in the trees up top with his Radiance turned off, LGD are taking Roche. So I don't think they have quite the same read on this game that LGD do.
Man, LGD gonna make it happen. They do smoke up now for Virtus Pro, but it might be a little bit too late as Roche is going to fall into the hands of Ame, and if they continue to take this fight, this could turn south very quickly. Yeah, Solo decides we're gonna back up, reset.
Yeah, but Roger's also waiting nearby because he wants to try and find just like one good pick. He is a Kunkka, you know, they can get this very long range kill, back themselves away. They're gonna attempt to do it with a Moonlight Shadow. Doesn't look like there's a sentry here.
Is wearing off, but yeah, again, they spot out that this could potentially be coming their direction. They shard the cliff.
Radiant's bottom
back
tower
away.
is under attack.
Very, again, disciplined play coming from PSG LGD.
And every time you look at this 2K lead, you just have to remember there's an Alchemist on the enemy team. This is worse than it looks.
18 minutes, the immediate D-ward. Can we say enough about X-Nova's warding?
I know, it's unbelievable at this point. Feels like VP cannot get any sort of a foothold on this top half of the map right now.
13-8, and Virtus Pro sending multiple heroes up to the top side. X-Nova still holding on to Global. They're walking right on top of a ward. They do not realize this as Chalice is ready to chase down if they so desire, but it does look like Solo is going to be left alone. Are they going to decide to go on him? I think he spotted that rotation coming as well. FY in the area. They're going to snowball for this kill and not able to do almost anything.
Another, oh, actually not a -3. Didn't get there in time from X-Nova, but now they can pressure in as 3 here. You have a Terrorblade farming the jungle. You have Alina who just picked up a Shadow Blade coming on the courier. Maybe could try and connect up top with them if they want to rotate down and grab a couple kills. But no real threat right now for LGD. They can just kind of relax here, knowing that they have this Aegis to play around.
So buy space for no one. Is that still just the game plan right now for Virtus Pro, if at all possible?
At some point, they need to fight, but it looks like Ramses is set on having that Blade Mail first. And that could be something that could turn this around, right? There's no BKB yet for the Lina. Maybe he's going to be building into it first because he's starting to see if that's really the only option they have to kill him. Much better BKB game than last game for him. Only has the Fiend's Grip this time to worry about, no black holes, and he can take care of things like the Kunkka and the Mirana. Lots of magical damage as well as what would be thrown back from that Blade Mail. So a Yule Scepter forced out here for Pasha. Some way to deal with this silence, but it means that he can't really go into any sort of damage for himself. And they are going to smoke up here. This time, it won't be directly scouted necessarily. There was an illusion in the area from Ame.
Oh, he takes
Nightmare.
that rune.
But the arrow's already gone.
Yeah, no follow-up right now either. They realize where all of VP is, and that smoke not going to amount to a kill, it looks like.
And it looks like they just got all 4 bounty runes here to the side of LGD. And you definitely need that as an alpha team.
And no one wants to find the stun here on the Chalice time-lapse. There is still an X that's going to catch him. The global is going to be there. The boat is still going to connect at the end of it. So they find themselves a kill on no one. That's the beginning.
Yes, very good take down Chalice like that. Give no one a little bit of gold. So keep those up. They want to keep the ball rolling. They're moving through. Solo has the Nightmare. He finds the correct one. This time we have the arrow, but he stops it.
Oh, the trade over with the Manta. Great play. And the snowball save as well. Following for more. Roger is going to die here, it looks like, as they do have the vision to take him down. X-Nova running away. The Yule Scepter dodge still manages to hit there onto X-Nova, who is going to fall. Well, going to point out onto no one. Still jumping out of there. They can't get the Sunder off. He still does have the Aegis.
Solo found that big kill with the Fiend's Grip. Now coming back up, they will miss with the arrow. And they're chasing forward. They have the snowball.
Fly looking for that opening. It's just going to Walrus Punch Solo there, and the Light Strike Ray going to connect. Now, can they find any more? LGD looking to continue this.
Firefly wants it. He throws a long bomb, but the Hail Mary won't connect. And they will just settle for this tier 2 tower. So it looks like with 5-backs and everything to the side of the Radiant, relatively even fight, but VP did take down that Aegis. Unfortunately, there was only about a minute left on it anyway. However, it is still just an instance where they're not falling further behind.
Only a 3,000 gold lead. 16 to 10, 21 minutes into this one, and what's felt like just a bloodbath. Continuing to seem like it's going to go that way. Chalice picking up the Diffusal Blade now. Burning through mana of the Wraith King. Important. Make sure he can't get that ultimate off. Going for the BKB next. I mean, around these BKB timings, that's normally where teams try to want to end the game. Is that what they're looking to do for LGD?
I think it just makes sense with their lineup because they don't have that traditional frontliner that all 3 of their heroes have to buy this BKB. So it's not necessarily a requirement for going high ground so much as it is a requirement for just not throwing away your lead.
Okay.
And there's that Blink Dagger now picked up here for no one. So this is where they can try and get aggressive in sync with the Blade Mail. This is the best timing for Virtus Pro. Try and find some good engagements.
Solo, under vision. They go to the Nightmare yet again. The Shard's a little bit off the mark that time, and with the rotation from Kunkka, will not commit any more heroes to this game Woods. Aegis having expired, already been used up in that last fight by Ame. It does feel like PSG LGD are going to be waiting for the next Roche before they really go for a big team fight. There's the lift up there. Arrow afterwards connects onto the silencer. Diffusal Blade out. No one shows up, wants to take this fight possibly.
They can't even finish the silencer. They're not sure what's happening on the side of LGD, but the reinforcements are actually quite far away.
They are showing up though, and X-Nova, all the illusions chasing him. Feels pretty bad right now to be a silencer, but
wait, he might get out.
Is he actually going to be able to walk away from this? Has a TP as well, and now Ramses is kind of in an awkward spot. Do they realize where he's at? The sigil? It spots him out, and Ramses is going to be caught and blocks the Blade Mail, tries to turn this, but it does look like eventually, again, the Wraith King will be found.
X-Nova wants that -2. Get over here, buddy.
He's sticking around. They bullied him earlier, but they eventually take the kill.
17 to 10 now, a 4K lead. LGD, are we going to get a second 2-0? Can they keep this going? That's a real question. AP looked pretty defeated after game 1. They've fallen back on an Alchemist. All this pressure on no one. And what was their first foray, really, with the Blink Dagger, did not go very successfully.
Yeah, I mean, eventually you do talk about like the damage mitigation that comes in from the Radiant's Mischance, all of these things working in consort to try and mess with the Terrorblade, but it just doesn't feel like they're at that point right now to be able to fight against the pressure that's coming. And you see this right here, Ame feeling comfortable pressing this
this
far
would be a
forward while
big
the smoke
grab
is
on
going
no one.
on, and they're looking for him. Find him immediately. There's going to be the Yule Scepter. Can they follow it up? Snowball, Walrus Punch. They have the Spear Vessel. He's not regenning. He's dying.
Even throw the ulti to secure, but Pasha still rotates in here. He's all alone.
Is he really trying to take this? They actually might be able to make this work, though. The silence is going to be there as well. Pasha's dead from Samus as well. They buy back on the Mirana. X-Nova chasing forward on no HP, but FY is going to be there as well. And there's the Laguna Blade onto the Kunkka. Does not even get to cast his ship as Ramsey's also being ran at. LGD, what are you doing? You're just tearing at him. They're going for the Armwood toggle, but it's not enough. They take down the bottom tier 3 tower. Ame can trade so much space. They actually might be able to kill off this Terrorblade, but is he going to be able to get out of there? The snowball, they've got it. No one in trouble. It's dead yet again. LGD running over the corpses of Virtus Pro.
I think last game the buybacks weren't there. This time they were for Virtus Pro, but they were not used in the best possible way.
And you can hear the adoration from the crowd right now. A huge win right here as they are taking down the first set of barracks 25 minutes into this game. $13,000 gold lead for LGD.
Now it's one set of racks versus an Alchemist draft. It's not the end here for Virtus Pro, but a 13k gold lead versus an Alchemist. Things are looking fantastic here for PSG LGD. They just retreat back. Some real scribbles across the map from Ramses, you can see. I think declaring that their half's just not safe.
They pick up this Blink Dagger as well on the Tusk now for more of those snowball saves. And I mean, if you're Virtus Pro at this point, like it doesn't really feel like there's a plan B. They're kind of in it right now, and they just have to sort of battle their way out of it, it feels like.
Such a clear game plan from PSG LGD around this Terrorblade. Have you ever really felt like Ame was threatened?
Not really.
I mean, that was the closest he came to dying, and he was versus like 3 heroes. With the rest of his team on the other side of the map, he takes a tier 3 by himself, and then the reinforcements arrive. They have given him so much room here. Again, it does come back to that vision. You just can't ignore it. He always knows what Virtus Pro is up to.
Speaking of vision, after Roche respawns, 10 seconds later, LGD are in the pit. Starting to take it down for what could potentially be.
They have to fight this. There's no choice, but remember the buybacks are limited for Virtus Pro.
None on at all any of the heroes for Virtus Pro.
Roger, the only one that's even close.
And the arrow's going to go out. It's going to connect on Illusion.
Ramsey's
now they know. There's the Yule Scepter lift up. They do have a Glowstone. They want to use it possibly. It's going to be dropped down, but they have the Aegis. It's on the Terrorblade. Chasing for more. They bring down X-Nova low, but he's still not dead. He does finally fall. Can they kill off Roger? It is going to happen. And now can they chase for any more? Ramsey still diving into this one. He goes for the snowball. There's going to be a Fiend's Grip onto the Terrorblade, trying to kill him off. The Blade Mail's still going for Ramses as they lay into him. And now there's the reflection coming out as well. They do bring him down one time, but it comes at the cost of the Wraith King's first life as well.
Back up, and he's just all on his own. The team is abandoning Ramses.
And trying to Armwood toggle his way out of it. It's not going to happen. He does take down Chalice. Not a bad kill there. Solo also being killed off as well, though. And 3 dead. That's the Aegis down. Very least.
Yeah. Ends up being a relatively even trade across the board there, but once you add in the fact that the Aegis was taken as well as the cheese, they lose the Aegis, but at least they'll get to keep the cheese there on for Ame.
Arrow out, no one trying to go for initiation here. This could be good for them, but they can't even kill off the Tusk early. The reflection is just so hard to fight into that radiance that you just get
Roger
for free.
needs a big play.
Oh, and the Manta dodge as well. Not bad from Ame. The boat's gonna hit, but nothing else.
They have no arrow follow-up, and kept losing a tower as well just to this catapult. Everything going wrong here for Virtus Pro.
What can you really say about LGD this game? They've got the BKB now, trying to go for the Assault Cuirass on the Lina. Getting closer to the Lincoln Sphere as well. One of the main ways that you've seen VP get back into this, at least a little bit when they've been fighting, is a Fiend's Grip onto that Terrorblade. You can take a look at this replay here.
Yeah, you see Ramsey. What a play here by, I believe it was Maybe, who just mules him up in the air, just grabbed him. Made sure he couldn't initiate for the Aegis steal.
At this point, too, going forward through every subsequent fight, they're going to have that reflection cooldown on the Terrorblade. And they found themselves no one yet again. There is not an answer in the world for that.
That Spirit Vessel is just such a strong counter at this point when you're able to catch up to an Alchemist like this. Can't get into a BKB in time. Still so far right now for Ramsey, or for no one. They go back to the shrine. Oh, thank you, team. Zombies just still hitting neutrals.
He's doing it. He's fine with that. They do throw out the boat. This is one of the nice parts about Kunkka at this stage in the game, at the very least, is that you can push out creep waves very quickly because of that low cooldown. Going to need it. As, Pasha, yet again, found, lifted up. There's going to be the light strike array. Hits Wall. He's going through the air. The Walrus punch, the snowball, going forward for more. And Pasha in trouble. It's the Yule Scepter lift off, living, and Blasted not going to be there. That's some twinkle toes.
Pasha finds a bit of time, right? Wave dies, and the tower lives for about 10 more seconds. But that's 10 more seconds for no one to try and get back up here with no buyback. And now he'll have enough gold for the BKB if they want to try one last hurrah using that.
Is under attack.
They need to win a fight, it feels like. Drawing even at this point does not feel good enough, and it's even tough drawing even.
And methodical play here from PSG LGD. They already took down the top shrine, they move on to the bottom.
Dire's bottom shrine.
Nice there from Ramses, comes in, secures his team, a little bit of extra gold. See what they need to get into those KVs, as you said. But it's actually going to be the Alk queuing up a Shiva's Guard now instead.
Okay.
Such a hard game at this point. 19,000 gold lead. And you're on an Alchemist. This hero balanced around being ahead.
Yeah. Looks like no one's just trying to find some sort of an answer to these terrible illusions. Solo will actually nightmare him to stop the self-stun. What a great teammate.
Oh yeah. But again, LGD coming into the main event, you know, being able to sustain against the pressure that was coming from BP in game number 1 and then come back with a performance like this in game number 2. Very impressive stuff. Has thought about going on Ramses, but he's not an easy target to take down. Let him know how he feels about it.
Not only is the lead much larger in this game, it's just not the same sort of mechanics for a comeback situation. There's still a tier 1 in the mid lane right now for the side of LGD. You know, that whole march down mid after a one-team fight, not an easy situation right now for the Radiant to, or rather for Virtus Pro to try and achieve, and buybacks are still there right now for everyone except for Lina.
Finish off the Shiva's Guard, trying to send the courier around that way to cure that one back for Virtus Pro. They're sending it the very, very long way, but it does have the Shiva's Guard on it.
Invisibility.
And they're just holed up in their base right now.
This means that you can get so much farm around the rest of the map with the rest of the heroes of LGD. Sometimes it can be a little bit dangerous because you have to sort of push out all the side lanes, and that might leave somebody else open, but yeah, you can see 97% is pretty good.
Scan just to make sure Pasha actually left up top, but he is back where he belongs, hiding away here. LGD look to close this one out again, just this slow play, just building up some more defensive items here, looking for Lincoln Sphere for Chalice, and FY using this gem just to fully secure the vision, as well as thinking about getting himself a sight if he can get there.
Dotting their I's, crossing their T's,
That is
running
the real
at
Ramsey down there, and Ame just boldly runs at him.
Does not have a care in the world right now. Cheese, BKB, everything. If they find a pick off here, great. But honestly, they can just wait till the next Roche also if they want to. Within vision, Sentry and Observer Ward combo, giving pretty good details as to what's happening, but that gem does mean that it's going to be that much less likely that they're going to be able to keep that vision up. They're going to have to play in the dark.
Yeah, I'm sure FY is just itching for it right now, but he will play patiently. As much as he can see these Virtus Pro heroes, he'd rather they actually left the base. They know they need to win some sort of massive fight. So eventually, Virtus Pro are going to feel forced to come out with it's the next Roche fight, or if they want to try a sneaky smoke play after a big item pickup, it's probably their best chance to get into it.
And again, just every time you walk out, they can't even finish off a whole creep wave because they don't feel confident, because immediately LGD is there, potentially just going to blow one of them up. I do think that this is a really nice part about the Blade Mail pickup for Ramses. If he didn't have that item, odds are they would just try and kill him every time. But he at least can go out there.
Maybe try and burn his ultimate or something, but they're just not allowing any sort of response coming out from Virtus Pro, because there are good counter-initiation heroes. Like, Kunkka's not the fastest counter-initiator, but when you have an entire reincarnation to work around, it gives good opportunities for Roger to maybe find a couple stuns with the boat, and maybe that'll get enough space for the big Shiva's Guide from no one, and suddenly you've killed one hero and you can run down this fight. We are still dealing with a tri-core that isn't that traditional sense of having like someone relatively tanky. As Solo will finally get caught on a mission here.
Arrow flying out as well. BP, they're going to buy back on Solo. And there's the diffuser blade onto Pasha, forcing out the leaf. The stun is going to connect. They have the X. The Torrent is going to be off the mark, though. And now the Terrorblade just walks in bold as brass and throw out that reflection, daring them to come and fight.
And you can see, again, very disciplined play here from PSGLG. They don't chase it all. They might have some pretty high mobility.
Now, there's going to be the stun going out again. Blocked for the moment. They still are tearing into this tower. Solo with nowhere really left to go, and he's going to get punched to death. Ame striking forward, asserting dominance over the captain of Virtus Pro, who fought back, so they don't have this main in the next fight. And it might not even be a fight, to be honest, the way that this is going. LGD just walking over them. No one trying to get it back with the Shiva's Guard, slow down this pressure that's coming. But this looks like it's going to be the second set of racks, and GG is called. Eventually, LGD stomp over.
That was an emphatic victory from LGD. They never really looked behind. They saw every move coming from Virtus